Welcome to this Google Hangout with the Vanderbilt Office of Undergraduate Admissions. I'm Annalise Miyashiro, one of the admissions counselors, and I'm here today with four of our wonderful students to talk about academics and research. So before we go into the questions portion, I'm going to have them introduce themselves with their name, where they're from, what year they are, and their major, as well as tell us which undergraduate school they're in and why they think it is unique. All right, let's start with Pranjal.
Okay. Hey guys, my name is Pranjal Gupta. I'm a senior from Auburn, Alabama, studying chemical engineering in the School of Engineering. So what I think makes the School of Engineering unique is the flexibility you have in your first semester in trying to decide what type of engineering you want to do. So we have a thing called the engineering modules, engineering science modules, and you have the opportunity to study 3 different disciplines of engineering your first semester for a third of a semester each. That really helped me out a lot because that reaffirmed that I wanted to study chemical engineering, but I also realized that I loved computer science because I took a computer science portion. So having that module set up in the School of Engineering I think really helped me out and helps a lot of other students as well.
All right, Morgan?
Sure. Hi everyone, my name is Morgan Franklin and I'm a senior from Zion, Illinois with a Communication Studies major and minor in Corporate Strategy within the College of Arts and Science. And aside from being the largest school, which I think therefore makes us probably the most unique and maybe the best out of all 4, I think that A&S is really special because of the diversity of classes that we have. We have disciplines in tons of different varieties, and I think that my favorite part of our arts and science specifically is our AXL requirements, which are the core requirements that you have to take in order to graduate when you're a senior. And this allows you to take classes in humanities, in perspective courses, international courses, math and science, and it really makes you a well-crafted, a well-rounded applicant for jobs and things like that. Once you are out in the real world, you have experience with not only working with people, but working with numbers and working in different environments, which I think is awesome to be a well-rounded student.
Okay, thank you. Austin.
Hi, my name is Austin Vitaliano. I am from Chicago, Illinois. I am a senior studying both performance at the Blair School of Music. What I think makes Blair a very unique school is, first of all, the student-to-faculty ratio is the smallest out of all the schools. It's about 4-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. And what that means for students is that they get more of a one-on-one, a personable relationship. And this is especially important for musicians that are looking to gain experience, especially when they're going out for jobs and things like that. Getting a mentorship that really helps them and sets them up for success is very important. The other big thing is that we're an all-undergraduate school at the Blair School of Music, so what that means for us is that we don't have to compete with graduate students in terms of auditions, auditioning for orchestras or an opera, and so we, again, gain that experience that maybe an undergrad musician might not gain in other schools that is unique to Vanderbilt Blair School of Music.
And last but not least.
How's it going, guys? My name's Samuel McDaniel. I am a senior from Atlanta, Georgia, studying human organizational development in the College of Peabody. And what makes Peabody College special would probably be the hands-on experience that the students get. From HOD, we work with many companies. As a college student, I've probably had like 3 or 4 clients already within the Nashville community, which I love about going to school here. We have like real hands-on experience with companies and helping them solve real-life problems. So it's not just looking at books. And then on the teaching side, our student teachers get in the classroom very early. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's around their junior year that they get experience working with kids, and I know even before that. I'm sorry?
Their first year.
Oh, their first year. Oh, excuse me. Their first year. So, I mean, that's just an experience that is unparalleled in the student teaching realm. And we also have 3 out of 15 learning centers, like the Susan Gray School. That's 3 out of 15 in the nation. So just having those resources here in our backyard just makes Peabody very special.
Yeah, for sure. So what has been your most memorable class?
For me, in terms of Blair, my most memorable class was definitely my career preparedness class with Professor Mitchell Korn. He is a very accomplished musician. He has worked with orchestras all over the nation, and towards now the end of his working career, he has chosen to teach the next generation of musicians in how to become a successful musician. And in this generation, that means how to become a successful entrepreneur as well as musician. So in this class, we go through a lot of basic preparedness in terms of how do you speak well in an interview? Is your resume strong? Is your cover letter strong? We talk about business planning, contracts, copywriting, and also branding. We kind of go out of the box with how do you image yourself? Do you have a website? Are there places where people can find you online? Because, of course, technology and the internet is such an important part of being a working professional, no matter your discipline. We also have graduate school options that we talk about if you choose to get higher level education past your undergraduate career. And we also have how do you adapt in your working environment, and we get working professionals in the field. We have had the director of the Nashville Ballet actually come and speak with us, and we had someone from the administrative end talk to us about, again, how to interview well and how to speak well while you're talking with another person. So that was just a holistic class that really included all the aspects that really prepare us for launching into the future in terms of getting a career. So that was by far my favorite class.
So I can go next. So the cool thing about being in the School of Engineering is that we have a lot of flexibility in terms of taking courses outside the School of Engineering. And so my personal favorite course has been an Introduction to Film course. I took it my first semester my freshman year because I wanted to get famous on YouTube, and so I needed to learn how to make cool videos. And so I walked into this room, and the room was filled with film majors, and I was one of the only engineers, but the professor took so much time out of dedicating to his film major students to me. Personally worked with me on a really cool stop-motion film project about a chocolate pretzel that is finding his way through the world. And so ever since then, I've picked up film as a hobby, but it was because of that class and the opportunity I had to take that class that I got interested in film. So that's one of the fun things about being in the School of Engineering is I can take my core engineering classes, which I've loved, and then also be able to explore some really cool classes outside the School of Engineering as well.
Great. All right, so our next question is, can you tell me a little bit about your interactions with faculty members, both in and out of the classroom?
Yeah, I'll start. I took a class with Dr. Gillman Whiting, who teaches both in Arts and Science and in Peabody College, and this was my freshman year, so about 3 years ago now, I think that makes sense. And believe it or not, we had this really cool dynamic in class. We made jokes all the time, and so when I wanted to apply to be a tour guide for the university, he was my go-to guy. And I would go to office hours, always eat all the chocolate that he had sitting on his desk for, I believe, just me and only me. And he wrote my recommendation for me, and I got a tour guide, and we still actually see each other now, senior year, 3 years later, talk about tour guides, talk about the books that he's working on, the research that he's doing for Peabody College. He's often also hanging out outside of RAND, which is one of our student centers, playing a Brazilian instrument. So if you guys, 3 of you, or Annalise, you two, see him out there, that is Gillman Whiting. Talk to him about his instrument. It's really cool, and he is a phenomenal professor. So it's great to have those relationships last, 2, 3, 4 years, and I'm sure even beyond my time here at Vanderbilt.
I'll talk a little bit about the faculty members that are also administrators and how accessible they are outside the classroom. So every first-year student is placed into a program called Visions. So you're put into this group with 17 other first-year students, an upperclassman mentor, as well as a faculty mentor who help guide you through your first-year experience. And so when I was a first-year student, I was placed in the chancellor's group. So every Monday at 6 o'clock, I would go to the chancellor's office, and I would have dinner with him and 17 other students in Kirkland Hall, which is our main administrative building. And then at the end of the school year, we were able to go to his house. I met his wife. I hung out. And ever since then, I've kept in pretty close contact with him. He actually wrote my recommendation letter for medical school. So it's been a really cool experience to be able to meet these administrators. Now I'm an upperclassman mentor myself, and my faculty partner is actually Dean Karen Campbell, who is an associate dean of the College of Arts and Science. So it's really cool to see how all these administrators care so much about the first-year experience, and it's not uncommon to just see them walking around around campus. Like, for example, outside of RAND, playing a Brazilian instrument. So that's been a really cool thing.
Yeah, and Pranjal, that's a great thing to stress too. If nothing else, I want to stress the importance of you are not just a number in Vanderbilt University. The teachers really do care about you and really do want to see you succeed. And so if you take the first step into reaching out to them, they're more than happy to help you out and work with you.
Yeah, definitely. So have you had any opportunities to participate in research, and how did you get those opportunities?
Yes, I could start off with this one. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a human organizational development major, and the way that program works is you have core classes that you have to take, which teach you how to assess any environment, classroom, business, any organization, how to assess the environment, how to work with people, how just to, I guess, yeah, just how to be a consultant, I guess, in short. And then the culmination of all of that coursework is actually doing an internship. Most people do it second semester junior year or any time during their senior year. I wanted to knock that out because I didn't want to spend senior year away from campus. So I did that last semester, and I was like a big boy, you know. Every day I dressed up, put on like a nice little tie, some nice slacks, you know, nice shirt. Yeah, I look good, but not just kidding. No, but it was great. It was a great experience. I worked at UBS, which is the Bank of Switzerland, in their wealth management practice. Even though, you know, I didn't say anything about finance, the great thing about this research opportunity is that you could just be put into any industry that you have an interest in. And even though you may not be technically sound, the HOD program gives you tools to where you can assess any environment, give them soft recommendations to help them, other than the hard skills that most people expect you have to do as an intern. So every intern was placed in their environment, and they had to come up with a project or something to leave behind for the organization. For my project, I did research, and I saw that female investors were like the highest, was growing at the fastest rate, females and young people, like the people on the panel. So I forged a relationship with a female networking group here in Nashville. Well, it's actually worldwide. There's chapters in Brazil, here, Spain, but forged a relationship between my practice and the Nashville chapter, and held an event just kind of to put our services out there in the forefront as a resource for the members of that community to use. And we've just had, there's so many different sites. Somebody's worked at the Country Music Hall of Fame, small healthcare startups. We are in Nashville, which is a huge healthcare hub here. So it's just been a great opportunity to use the city to our advantage.
And I think that that's one of the great things about Vanderbilt is you get a lot of opportunity, research, internships to get that hands-on experience early on. I know, Morgan, you had mentioned that there was recently a research fair.
Yeah, on campus, they actually hosted this very large event. A lot of students stayed over the summer here on campus to do research, and they had this culmination of this huge event where hundreds of students turned up into our Student Life Center, and they just presented their projects. There was a prize, so there was a winner, but a couple of my friends were part of it. My friend Alex is a microbiology major here, and she was studying ants and their olfactory senses and the ways in which if you spray something on these ants that they will possibly be less aggressive and don't bite you as often. So that was a project that she worked on. Another friend of mine actually studied, or she researched women's rights litigation in law courts in the Supreme Court level, and she was the winner of the whole fair, actually, believe it or not. So the winner was not a hard science, it was in fact law and law practice. So there was just all these different events and all these different research projects. And it was so fun for me, not being someone who does research, to actually go out, learn about these different things, and be able to use them in my everyday life and talk about them in conversations over lunch or something like that. So it was really cool to see the variety of things that students study here.
And I can talk a little bit about my own research experience. I've done research now for almost 2.5 years, and again, one of the coolest things about our campus is that you can get involved in any area you want to get involved with, no matter your major. So again, I'm a chemical engineering major. and I decided to join a neuroscience lab. I'm actually sitting outside it right now. So I just pulled up a list of professors my sophomore year who had received grants from the National Science Foundation, and I made a list of all the professors whose research interested me. I think a couple of them were within engineering, and then a couple of them were outside. And then I basically shot the professors an email saying, "Hey, could I come in and learn more about your research?" All of them let me come in. I talked to them, and then afterwards I asked them if I could join their lab as an undergraduate researcher, and all of them said yes. And then I had to decide which one I would pick. So then I picked the neuroscience lab because it was just it was the coolest. Now I do research on children with autism. So we look at how children with autism see and hear different stimuli and how their brain fuses those different sounds and sights. And so it's been a really cool experience. I've gotten some posters that were presented at the Society for Neuroscience, which is like an international neuroscience conference, as a chemical engineer. And so it's been really fun to see how any student, regardless of your school, whether you're in Blair or College of Arts and Science or Peabody or engineering, can get into any lab whatsoever and try any type of research.
Yeah, diversity of research. I mean, just hearing it from you three, how different all three are. Even though I haven't done any research yet, my colleague Rue George Warren, I always remember his research project. He did Native American activism and then got a grant from Vanderbilt to do that research and then perform it actually in New York. He did kind of an avant-garde project, and again, he was in music and he still had a research opportunity that was approved through Vanderbilt. So no matter your discipline, it's very interesting that you can pursue that.
Absolutely. And so the last question is for all of you. And how do you find balance between your academics and your other interests?
I'll go first. Ladies first, I guess. I'll hit it. Really briefly, for me, I find balance in taking time to myself, I think. I think that's the most important thing, is just having a healthy mental state. Be it that we are at Vanderbilt, it can be very busy and we all have tons of passions and things that we're involved in, but taking a couple minutes every day just to remember why you're here and what's important to you is something that I found really therapeutic throughout the last few years, because it can get a little overwhelming with all the things that you're committed to. But once you take that step back, think about your purpose here on this campus, it's been really beneficial for me, I think, throughout the last several years.
For me, it's two things. One is time management. So in high school, I was not good at time management, and I had to quickly learn that in college it's a pretty important thing. So whether that means like organizing on sticky notes or like figuring out your calendar, that's really important. But I think the second thing is just finding what exactly you're passionate about on this campus, because when you're balancing school with other things that you love to do, it doesn't feel like work anymore. When you go from studying something you love in the classroom to organizing an event that you love outside the classroom, you always feel balanced and you always feel happy and refreshed because you're doing what you love. And so college is a time to explore those passions and making sure that you're basically doing what you enjoy. So.
Yeah, I guess to go off of that, we're in Nashville, so I mean, I love being in the city. I know I keep saying this, God, every question. But we are, and I mean, take advantage of it. Like, I mean, if you're having a bad day, go downtown, hang out, or go by. There's so many like naturey things to do. Tennis is beautiful. Like last weekend, I went canoeing. I am a Peabody student, and one of the perks of the school is that our scheduling is different. So I'm able to have Fridays off just based on how my classes are set up. A lot of them are Monday and Wednesday. They're a little bit longer, but that just gives me my Fridays off. Like I don't have Friday classes this semester. So, I like to sleep in late sometimes. There's a golf course right down the street. If it's nice outside, why not go play 9 holes? And I mean, go out, eat somewhere. I mean, there's just so many ways to get off of campus because, I mean, it's great and I love campus. But I think because we live here, sometimes it's nice to get off, and it's nice to just be a person and not just a Vanderbilt student. And I feel here you definitely can. So we're not in the middle of nowhere. So that's probably been one of the best therapies for me in my 4 years here.
Yeah, and my argument is kind of a common thread between all three of my friends here. I think of it as sort of a yin and yang. It's kind of a cycle. And so if you are too extreme in academics or too extreme in the social balance, then you can kind of get drowned here in Vanderbilt, because we are very active. And we expect a lot from, or they expect a lot from their students. And so there are so many outlets that Vanderbilt has to offer that you can really just dive into. And I think that that's the biggest thing that I recommend. Whenever I am feeling overwhelmed, I can go downtown into Nashville and see an amazing concert. Or Pranjal, if I'm feeling down or depressed, I can do some music outreach or work with children in terms of music and stuff like that to kind of make me understand why I did this in the first place. So again, it's that cycle, it's that balance between academics and social life.
Wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for participating in this Google Hangout. Remember, for those of you watching, if you have any further questions, please contact us. Go to admissions.vanderbilt.edu. You can find your admissions counselor or contact a current student. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.